welcome to this pastoral letter from me, Reverend Mike Grimsley. I wonder if any of you have seen a picture of the latest Banksy artwork sprayed onto a brick wall behind a broken bike locked onto a signpost. You may not like graffiti, but his creativity is certainly to be admired. The bike is broken, the front wheel damaged, the back wheel missing, the chain coming off. Behind it is the artwork. A girl playing hula hoop with the tyre from the bike. It's like Banksy is trying to say, we're living in broken times, but let's make the most of the opportunities we have. I love this time of year as autumn heralds in a riotous explosion of colour, as the landscape is transformed again, as trees turn golden, squirrels scampering around, gathering up nuts, and creation bursting into a final flourish of colour before the winter. It reminds me of how our creator God is a bit like a child, having fun with bold paint strokes, brushing across the canvas of creation. In Psalm 19 verse 1, the psalmist proclaims, "The heaven declares the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." Just the start of a psalm of praise to our Creator. Yet, as much as I'm in awe of creation in the autumn, my mind also turns to the evenings drawing in, the weather getting colder, the gloom of winter not being far away. All made worse as we head into the winter of closures and restrictions because of the COVID pandemic. Well, that could be my attitude if I allow it. I was listening to the radio the other day, and the host was sharing the thoughts of a psychologist who had come to the conclusion that people's reactions to the pandemic can be fitted into three categories. Firstly, there's denial. Denial about what is happening around us. Then anxiety, which sets in as we watch the media headlines and the rising numbers. Then the third category is acceptance. The process here is about people moving on and their discernment about what's happening. And I'm guessing many of us are still in that middle phase of being anxious. Acceptance is not about ignoring it, but realising we're going to have to live with the coronavirus and the restrictions that come for quite a while. We can be resigned to it and have a sense of doom and gloom, or accept our current situation and try and make the most of what comes and to look for opportunities to respond creatively. I noticed in John's Gospel, chapter 14, having already told his disciples that he'll be betrayed, Jesus prepares them for the trauma they are about to experience and encourages them to trust in him. It says in verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid." He's encouraging them to move on from denial and anxiety to the acceptance of what is going to happen. Sometimes God has a greater purpose beyond what we can comprehend in the moment. We were reflecting in the first meeting of our circuit worship group about the importance of creativity as ways of expressing ourselves spiritually. That doesn't mean we have to be a Banksy or a gifted poet or painter, but we can all express ourselves in creative ways as a release from the gloom. Our creative output, whether it's a prayer or a poem, something knitted or a piece of artwork, can be used to encourage others. In these coming days, as many of us move into Tier 3 of the government's COVID response, let us choose to trust in God's plan, despite the chaos, remembering how we say in the Lord's Prayer, "Thy will be done." Choosing to accept where we are now and to respond in a way that honours God, who extravagantly created us and shapes the world around us, is maybe a good way of accepting all that is happening at this time.